after that song, I see we have a caller on the line. It's a regular caller to the show on this special pre-Valentine's Day show. It's John from Basingstoke. John, are you there?
Hello, Mark. Yes, John. John Ashe from Basingstoke. John Ashe with an E. I'm here, suffering a bit here with the remains of a cold. But so you might find that I cough a bit, but I'm all right. Basically, I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's always nice to hear your voice, John. So, oh dear. So we're sort of asking our listeners what plans they've got for Valentine's tomorrow. What plans have you got, John, for Valentine's?
Well, not exactly plans. I'm going to take my wife out for dinner.
Right.
If I can stop coughing.
Oh dear, yeah.
And probably to the cinema as well. We've not decided what to go and see.
Okay.
So no plans, really.
All quiet on the Western Front?
Is that a film?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a book, but it's also a film just come out.
Oh, no, I won't be seeing that.
Okay.
No. No, it'd have to be something romantic, like Notting Hill, I should think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's out, is it? Because that's quite old.
I thought that was quite a recent film.
No, it's sort of 90s, isn't it?
Oh, well, that's recent as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
You've got to remember, Mark, that I'm quite an old person now. I'm in my 60s.
Okay. All right.
So that was quite recent.
Okay. I don't think that...
There's a very good scene, isn't there, with... what's-his-face walking up the Notting Hill Road with the markets and the seasons changing.
Oh,
and all
yes.
That.
Very good.
That was quite a good scene. That was all I remember from it. The rest of it was probably lame.
Hmm. Or you're not going to see 4 Weddings and a Funeral, then?
I wouldn't see that again if you paid me. I mean, the way it starts is an abomination, isn't it?
Well, a bit sweary, isn't it? A bit sweary.
It is a bit sweary, and... You know, when you've watched that the first time, you think, well, that's slightly funny, perhaps. Then when you watch it the second time, you think, that's not slightly funny at all. And then when you watch it the third time, you think, well, I wish I was watching something on the other side.
How come you watched it 3 times if you didn't like it, then?
Well, I started to. You know, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
So the second time, I thought, well, I'll give the film the benefit of the doubt because I quite enjoyed it the first time.
Okay.
And then the second time I thought, well, I'm not enjoying this. And the third time, then I only watched probably a few minutes, a few of those words. And then I thought, well, what's on the other side?
What was on the other side?
I think it was Love Actually.
Oh, right.
Which between you and me, Mark, I think it's probably even worse. I think
it's definitely worse, John. I don't understand this love for the film. I can't stand it. I'm with you on that one.
Right.
So tell me so you haven't got any plans. Okay, well, you said you haven't got any plans, but it sounds like you have got plans, actually, going out for a meal in the cinema. Anything else you're going to give to your missus?
Oh, yes, I've placed an order.
Uh-huh.
But I'm afraid it's sort of gone wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What
Yes.
What happened with the order then?
Well, do you remember what happened last year? There was a mess up with the flowers. When I went to the shop and I was ordering some flowers, and they sent me a box full of different types of flower.
Oh gosh, yes I do, John. Yes I do. I remember that. Yes, that was bizarre.
It was bizarre, but then it's equally bizarre this time because I thought it would be really nice because my wife is into baking. I thought, well, it was very successful last time. She was able to use those bags of flour. So I thought, well, why not, as a kind of statement of irony, really, go into the shop, order the bags of flowers, and we could have a good joke about it. Remember last year? And then lo and behold, what's happened this morning is that package has turned up, and inside it, some roses.
Ah. So wait a minute. So they've sent you flowers. You went in to order some flowers, like self-raising and
yes.
And they've sent you flowers of the plant variety.
They have indeed.
Oh dear. Well, I mean, anyway.
Well, it's incredible, isn't it? Because when I went in there, I talked to them about what happened last year, and we had a good old chuckle about it.
Right.
And then I specifically said I'd like to have wholemeal flour, and I'd like to have bread flour, and et cetera, listed several things. So there's no way in which they could make mistakes. And of course, as you know, there's one counter that sells flowers, and there's the other counter that sells flowers the other side of the shop.
Yes, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Always, that's right. I mean, always, I would have thought, puts them on the edge of an incident like
this.
Well,
it's a recipe.
It always seems to happen to me.
No pun intended.
It might happen to other people. I've never asked anybody else.
No pun intended, but it does sound like a recipe for disaster.
It does indeed. It really does. I need to have words with the management about it, because I think they've made a very foolish decision setting the shop up.
Yeah. I mean, so basically you got yourself some flour. Are they all Are they all roses, John? Did you say
they're all roses? They're all the same colour. They're all deep red. It's a classic. Yeah. But what they've obviously done, and this is why I need to talk in depth about this, they've obviously ordered a whole bulk load of these, thinking, well, we can just sell loads of these for Valentine's Day because everybody will want to have deep red roses. And they've just thought, doesn't matter who comes into the shop, doesn't matter what they order, we'll send them this anyway because it's Valentine's Day and we don't need to think. Which is pretty stupid, isn't it, really, when they also sell the means of making cakes and bread.
Yeah.
And they don't even think about what it is that people ask for.
Oh dear. So who was going to make the cake? Remind, was it your wife who was into the baking, or was it you who were going to bake her a nice cake?
No, she's going to make it. That's right. Well, she was going to make it. I don't know what we're going to do now because I don't think we've got enough flour, really.
No. So you've got all the ingredients, like you've got the eggs and the milk and the sugar, have you? All set there. I can imagine it. In your kitchen in Basingstoke, all set up there on the counter, and nothing to go with it.
How can you imagine it? You've never seen our kitchen?
Well,
you haven't been in our kitchen, have you?
No, I'm just imagining. I'm literally using my imagination. I'm there with you in spirit, John. In this.
I see. So you don't actually, in your mind's eye, know what my kitchen looks like. You don't mean like that. You mean in principle, what a kitchen?
Yeah, in principle.
Yeah.
In
principle.
Yeah. Technically.
Yes, that's right. Well, no, the things aren't actually on the kitchen top yet. They're all still in the cupboards and in boxes and things.
Okay.
But yes, I'm not sure we've got enough flour, which is pretty irritating. Because I went to a lot of trouble. I went down there 2 days ago. I made a special journey, and I was getting a bit low on the petrol, but I thought, well, I'll probably make it. And then, lo and behold, because I ran out of petrol, so then I had to get a jerry can at the back of the car and go and, and then when you get to the petrol station, they always give you a funny look, don't they? Like you're going to set light to something, like I'm the local arsonist or whatever. Yeah. I was just getting some unleaded petrol from my car,
Yeah.
I don't know, these attendants. I mean, this particular chap at that garage, his eyebrows meet in the middle. I do wonder what his genetic inheritance is really. But anyway,
No, I suppose they think you're going to steal the petrol, do they? Because I guess it's easier to run off with a jerry can full of petrol than it is getting your car. Although actually no, I'm doubting myself now, because if you ran off, they could catch you, couldn't they? Whereas if you were in the car, although I suppose if you were in the car, it would go faster, but they'd have your number plate. So I guess that's the problem, isn't it? Were you wearing like a balaclava or something? Would they be worried about that, or a big hat?
No, I wasn't wearing anything like that. No, I was wearing my tracksuit bottoms, though.
Just the bottoms?
I went in...
Not just the bottoms?
No, of course not. No, I was wearing a sort of shell suit affair on the top, because it's a Liverpool area here.
Right.
So, but I don't have curly hair. Anyway, I went in to pay for this, I suppose I had the jerry can with me full of petrol.
Yeah.
I suppose a lot of... Well, what you're supposed to do, you leave it outside for somebody to take when you're about to pay for it. No, I don't think so. So I took it in there, and you can smell it, and it's a bit. I suppose it's a bit malevolent, isn't it? Walking up to the cashier to pay, and you could just tip this petrol over the place and set light to it. Not that that even occurred to me, but I just wondered whether the young man thought that might be the case, because he looked at me quite scared, really, and. I was going to say his eyebrows met in the middle, but they already meet in the middle, so I suppose that's okay. Furrowed brow, furrowed brow.
So basically, you filled up your car, you went back to the car, filled it with petrol, drove to the shop, tried to have a long conversation about different kinds of flowers, came home thinking, well, that's settled, that'll be amusing.
Yeah, that's right, settled, and congratulating myself for having gone to such a lot of effort under those circumstances as well, and then it all goes wrong.
Well, look, at least you can give the flowers, can't you, to your wife? Won't she like those red roses?
Yes, that's true. She will like them, but she won't be very happy that she hasn't got the ingredients to make the cake and the bread.
Is there any chance?
I'm not going back there. I'm not going back there today to get it sorted. We're all very busy. But, I'm not doing that.
Have you got enough petrol this time, if you do decide?
Oh, yes, I made sure that I filled up after that. I'm not having that happen again.
No,
I don't want to go back and see that young man again.
Oh, well, look, that's a odd coincidence, isn't it? That the last year they gave you flowers instead of flour. Flour instead of flowers, I should say. And this year they've done the opposite. I mean, that does seem a strange coincidence. But I suppose if the shop sells both, then what do you expect, really?
Exactly. What do they expect?
Yeah.
Yes. I need to, as I've told you before, I need to have a chat with the management about this.
Yeah. Well, look, John. Hopefully you'll get something out of tonight. Even if you present your wife with a nice bunch of flowers, and perhaps you can buy some flour another day, and have a sort of delayed Valentine's cake another day.
I think it'll be all right in the morning.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, look, do you have a song you'd like us to play, John, for this special pre-Valentine's Day show?
Yes, I'd like to have It'll Be All Right in the Morning.
Oh,
by the Hot House Flowers, please.
Okay, because that's what you hope.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right in the morning.
Okay, yeah. All right, well...
I see what you mean. Yeah, the song is... Oh, I didn't notice that. It's amazing, isn't it? Life is full of coincidences.
Yes.
So this is a kind of coincidence show.
It isn't it? I should call it, coincidence show.
Mm.
All right, well, look, did you dance to that as a young man? I'm expecting you might have done.
Well, no, because it was a bit later than that. It was sort of mid to late 80s, and I was getting on by then. And although I think I did explain to you that sometimes I did secretly dance in a cupboard when I was a little bit older, because I felt I didn't want to do it in public. It didn't seem quite seemly by the time I was in my mid to late 20s.
Right, you danced you danced in a cupboard?
Yes, I used to dance in the cupboard at work. And I think it could have been one of those. I had a Walkman, various things on there. I would shut the door, and was surrounded by lots of A4 paper, things like that.
Okay.
And then have a good old dance in the cupboard.
Right.
Turn the lights off, come out, and pretend that nothing happened,
Right.
I didn't want other people wonder what I was doing in the cupboard, but I was just dancing in the cupboard.
And this was when you were a quantity surveyor?
Yes, this is when I was doing my training.
Okay.
For a quantity surveyor, yes.
Right.
Yes. I mean, it wouldn't seem... I wouldn't seem a serious person, so I wouldn't want to do too much dancing in public.
Stick to cupboards.
Stick to cupboards. I'd be going into work and dealing with people's quantities.
I suppose it's always safer just to dance in a cupboard if you're a bit shy, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I wasn't shy. I wouldn't say I was a shy person. I was just protecting my career, because I wouldn't want people to talk about me. Say, look, he dances to records, even though, look, he's in his 20s and he's dancing to sort of teeny bopper music.
Right.
And there I'm going to trust him to calculate the quantities for my block of flats.
Well, true. Okay, look, John, time's moving on, so let's play your record for you now. Do you have a shout-out you'd like to shout out for? Do you have somebody you'd like us to shout out for you, is what I'm trying to say?
Yes, Molly. Molly this week, please.
Okay, right, this one's for Molly. All right, then. Well, let's hope your morning does go as well, if not as planned, it goes the best it could possibly be tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I think it'll be all right in the morning.
Good, yes. Good. And what is your wife's name? I can't remember if you ever told us your wife's name, actually.
No, I've never told you the name, and I never will, because I think anonymity is important.
Right. Okay. All right, then.
Yes.
Well, I hope that you both have a nice Valentine's Day tomorrow, and lovely talking to you, and I'll speak to you next week.
Right. Great show, Mark. Thanks for speaking to me again.
Thank you.
See you next week.
No problem.
Very much appreciate it. Nice to have your time and to have the records and shout out to people. Thanks very much. Good show. Very much enjoyed it. Bye. Bye.
Thanks, John. Bye. Bye.
Darren's Valley's radio station.